Greetings, Lord Captain. I wonder if Nomos has anything to say now that we're here. Because it feels like we... No. Feels like we are in an area related to him. Lord Captain, unidentified sickle-shaped ships have taken off from the planet we just left. They're approaching swiftly and readying their weapons for battle. Get ready, it's about to get hot in here. Yes, we're just going to be fighting a ton of Necrons in this system, it seems. Because sickle-shaped ships is also Necron ships.
Order to the crew. Deliver me victory.
Jackal-class frigate. There's 3 of them. 3 of us. I like those odds. Wow, we do not have long range on our attacks. Okay. Move forward a bit more. Alright, I can catch 2 of them. You have some effect going on. Necron Lord. Necron Lord is seated on this ship. This ship gains 20% hit chance and +1 maneuverability. On this ship's turn, if it is more damage than another allied ship, the Necron Lord relocates to that ship. Otherwise, the Necron Lord uses aiming protocol. Aha. Ship repairs 20% of its missing hull. So probably we want to just focus down the side ships before we take on the Lord's ship. I mean, that's good damage. You have no shields or anything?
Leave their hull strewn across the stars.
Okay. You have 3 fires going on that are each going to do 5 to 10 damage. Not enough to kill you, even if they all got max damage. So if I then turned kind of this way, I could then hit you with this weapon. Which will finish you off. How much are we doing here? 3 shots of 33 damage. Yeah. Or if I instead sent out these, I don't know how much damage they do. I'm going to make sure I finish you off.
Set the course.
Just to be sure. Okay. No, what? Falling apart. At the start of its turn, this ship suffers damage equal to 25% of its maximum hull. Once per combat, when it's about to be destroyed, it instead reanimates with its full hull. However, this reanimation is not permanent. The ship continues to disintegrate, suffering damage equal to 25% of its maximum hull at the start of its turn. Right. So you're going to take 25% of your damage plus an additional 15 to 30 from our fires. Could also do a warp wave, just to do some more damage to you. Not much.
Torpedoes.
But hey, it's something. Let's move you that direction and have you take some shots. That is very tiny amounts of damage. And then go here to stop that ship from being able to travel, hopefully. Because that's always funny. So we're going to take some heavy hits, probably. you do so little damage. They're not firing on us, though, which is good. Yeah. Attack the Heartless. Oh, you took so much damage. That is great. Now we are super facing the wrong direction. I can still attack, though. Probably don't need to attack you anymore. You're going to die at the start of your turn. So let's send a shot at you.
Fire right now! Another salvo! Annihilate!
Okay. And then we'll do a swing run to get us facing the right direction again.
Onward!
Now, we're not going to have any sort of angle that we need. Let's go there.
Time has come.
And then I can jump forward. Does that get me anything useful? Not quite. It's a shame. Oh well. This battle is seeming super easy thus far. Let's see if we can get you taking some serious damage. Not really. We'll start heading that way. Yeah, you're probably going to survive this turn, unfortunately. Yeah, you've got 2 cases of burning, so maximum 20 damage, and you're at 22. That is a shame. Unless some of my allies take shots there. They seem to be focusing on you. No? Maybe. Yeah, that'll be enough. So you're gonna die to the fire. Fantastic. No, you got your healing instead. Before the fire hit. That... Grr. Alright, looks like it's up to us. That just barely misses. There you go. So that'll get us to hit.
Fire the lance batteries!
That'll break them so they're falling apart.
Fire right now!
Yeah. Good shots. Then we'll toss out another fighter. And I guess go here. I could do another warp wave. As far as this reach, I can use it on you. Let's do a little bit of damage to you. I think you're already dead. And then, yeah, we'll go here.
Lay in the course.
Okay. Yeah, let's head over here. That'll stop them from being able to move, which is always fun. Oh, you can't actually attack. And I might as well have you attack here, even though I think they're already dead. It's better to attack someone than no one. You can attack. Okay, another one down. Yep, he got his turn and it was just to heal and then do nothing. Parking a ship in front of another ship is definitely way too powerful, where it just kills their whole turn. Like, at the cost of just simply moving an interceptor. Okay, let's go there. We'll get a shot on you from here.
This one's going down.
Okay, back to fully healed.
Another salvo!
And I suppose if I go there, I'll be able to shoot you from the side. Goodbye, Necrons. You shouldn't have challenged me.
Another victory of 2 great dynasties, Lord Captain.
We got Archaeotech Glimmer Pattern Void Shield Array. 140 points of protection for each sector, doubled against enemy blast attacks. I think I'd rather have the 190 that's just always running. Lord Captain, what were those things? They took off from the surface of the world where you landed. I've never seen ships like that. Never seen such technologies either. We've fished a trophy out of the void, a relatively intact fragment of a wreck, and sent it to our engine seers, and just in case, we've isolated the compartment where they are performing their comprehension liturgies. Do we know nothing about this enemy? Or Lord Xenos researched the tomes in the Rogue Trader's private library. Perhaps it will give us insight into these monsters. Yes, do the Lord Xenos research. An hours-long silence follows your orders. Follows as your orders being executed. At last, the Vox comes to life again. Your Lordship, the Carto Artifacts claims to have found a mention of a Xenos similar to the ones we've encountered. The manuscript refers to them as Necrons. Do we really know nothing about this enemy? Nothing but tales and rumors. I've heard stories about sickle ships and reap entire squadrons like ears of grain. About crews that know no fear, about the veil of death that shrouds them and corrodes their enemies' ships like rust. Those stories aren't worth a Grox's arse, though, because they also said that none has ever survived encountering those sickle ships. If that were true, there wouldn't be anyone around to tell the stories, would there? Data available. Those creatures are the Nephilimex, the omniscience fallen angels. Citing a quotation, the first machine spirits ever created by the Omnissiah were in will, in body, and in power. Unmatched in their perfection, they were realizing the design of the Deus Mechanicus into being, but the principle of entropy conceived by the Omnissiah was fundamental, thus even the perfect became flawed through the overabundance of their perfection. You're claiming that Necrons were the Omnissiah's fallen angels, created by the Omnissiah. I'm not certain that your scripture is accurate. Yeah, Necrons were created a long time ago. In the War of the Gods, I think they called it. So vast for the Nephilimex's abilities, and so immeasurable the depths of their minds that pride tempted them, the Nephilimex rejected the design of the Deus Mechanicus in favor of their own. the order of existence was defiled, and a great war of absolute destruction came. The Nephilimex were overthrown and exterminated, with only a few managing to hide from the Omnissiah's eye by extinguishing their minds and shrouding themselves in oblivion. In their change, the Omnissiah created new machine spirits and destined them into servitude so that they would remember the limitations of their power and would not descend into pride. As for the ultimate perfection, the Deus Mechanicus abolished it from the universe, and thus it was no more. Interesting viewpoint, Pascal. What is this trophy we have acquired? The engineers are at a loss. They say it's a gift born up from the Omnissiah's wisdom, but its image was imperfect, and therefore it was eroded by corruption and unbelief, whatever that means. The ship's minor conclave have gone into data meditation to produce a resolution regarding the admissibility of using this item. Alright, we'll bolster the crew's morale, give out additional rations to those who showed valor in battle. This is just the beginning. As you will, Lord Captain. Okay, I think that's everything in this system done. Well, we haven't gone back to the warp gate to check it out. But then we'll be stepping back to the Koronus Expanse and seeing what we can see. The dimensional gate is still inactive. Passage is currently impossible, unfortunately. When will it become active again? I have sent a request to the engineers already. I won't insult your ears with the maybe in an hour, maybe in 10 Terran years type of answer. Ha! They have no idea. But that doesn't stop every cog on board, from the senior officer and down to the last technomat, from begging for a shuttle and permission to poke around in the thing. Alright, well, let's continue our search for Calcazar. So where does this put us in the Koronus Expanse? Here. So we're a little bit away. Does my ship need repair? No, we didn't actually take any damage in that battle. So, yeah. Can't upgrade my ship, sadly. Did we did not level up. We're 45 experience shy of a level up. What a shame. Alright, chart new courses. What do we have? Alright, 3 new systems. Do we know which one our other quests are in? Epitaph. And we don't know yours. None of these are called Epitaph. So I guess we'll go to the top one. You have a weird name. These at least have normal sounding names. Sanctum of Tephaeus, Nephrites Dominium, but then -AN number 8954 number 01KT. I might leave that one for later because that one sounds special. Let's go to Nephrites Dominium. And sure, we have way too much Navigator's Insight. We'll make it safe. Just because. Lord Captain, I must inform you that the Mistress Cabela has made her way to your chambers and relieved the bodyguard stationed there. Perhaps she wishes to have a conversation in private. I have kind of been ignoring her, and I feel slightly bad about it, but, you know, it is what it is. Let's go talk to her. But she also has had nothing new to say to us for ages. Your chambers have undergone a profound transformation. Familiar patterns stretch from the entrance all the way to the far end of the hall, forming an intricate maze. Its passages meet and diverge, all of them blending together in an almost hypnotic experience, and the aroma of sacred unguents tickles your nostrils.
Domin, it's time we left the labyrinth.
Bella looks rather out of place in the soft gloom of the chambers. A thin, angular tendril, an intruder in the realm of soothing shadow. What is going on?
Ever since you appeared in my life, I've been looking for a way out of what my existence has become. And I've realized I can't do it alone. This time, you will be my guide. Please, take me out of this labyrinth.
Cabela sighs
We're
and
free of this trap I've led us into. We can look at what the future holds.
Cabela sighs and smiles gently at you. I don't want to insult her by just saying, can't we just forget about the labyrinth? It's a big part of her life. So, well then, follow the sound of my words. Yeah, the labyrinth sort of marks her position in the spinners. And we've been trying to get her to stop focusing on just being a weapon, a tool, and being a person. I think that's what we're talking about here, is her wanting to step away from the labyrinth so that she can live her life. Well then, follow the sound of my words. You take a step and Cabela echoes it, entering the tangled web with you. You notice a set of tiny stitches on her closed eyelids. She is relying on her hearing to walk, having completely entrusted herself to your will.
When I first stepped into your world, it blinded me, so I clung to my mask of calm focus. Any other spinner in my place would have been overwhelmed by what I saw in your realm. When thoughts of you began to cloud my mind and steer me away from the tenets, I noticed it happening. Our bond is steadily cutting the threads between me and my purpose.
Will forever treasure the memory of the day I first saw you. You too have opened up a new world to me. I knew I had stirred something in your soul back then on our first evening. Find a way for Cabela to pass between the lines of the labyrinth. We don't always have to play by the rules, do we? Or guide Cabela through the labyrinth without breaking its rules. Interesting. I will forever treasure the memory of the day I first saw you. You two have opened up a new world to me.
Forever.
Cabela's expression tenses. She wants to look at you, but she does not lose control. I knew I'd stirred something in your soul back then on our first evening.
Can you truly read my soul so easily, Domin? Or are you just showing off in front of the one who trusts you?
She laughed softly. So, do we get her to break the rules? I guess that's the question. Are we trying to go fully against the labyrinth? To fully step away from it, break the rules, ignore the lines? Or do we guide her out of the labyrinth as she's wanting while still following the rules of the labyrinth? She can be who she has been, but no longer has to be tied to the labyrinth? Or do we just ignore the labyrinth and leave it behind entirely? And I don't think that's the direction she would want to go. Because it's still part of it. Like the fact that she's come here with her eyes sewed shut shows that she's still doing the things the way that the spinners taught her. She's not trying to just walk away and ignore it entirely. At least that's my reading on the situation. So guide Cabela through the labyrinth without breaking its rules. You guide Cabela through the maze, away from the center, and closer to the exit. Her movements are precise, and she carefully follows your every instruction. The corridors weave and join, cross and branch in an attempt to confuse all who wander them. The odor wafting from the lines on the floor makes your head swim.
I searched long. I tried on different masks. I struggled to find a new thread, one that would accept you without repulsing me. But here's the truth. I am my own past. The blood-spun web is my home and my destiny. It is everything I know about the universe, and I'm not ready to leave it behind. If I did, your Cabela would disappear. The web stretches through me, feeding my soul and mind. And so, it will always be.
I think that's fair.
I can love you still from the shadows of the web. If that isn't enough for you, I will withdraw into the darkness. I will take our feelings with me and keep them far away from you.
We'll find a way to be together, however different our worlds may be. We can overcome any obstacle. Not bad. Don't torment yourself. Go back to your world. We might be far from one another, but our love will live on. No. We'll find a way to be together, however different our worlds may be. We can overcome any obstacle.
Domin, I would defy the tenets. No, every law in the Imperium, just for a chance to be happy with you. But I know I won't be.
She speaks so tenderly that she loses her breath, and then she falls silent, waiting to hear your guiding voice. We could sing, "Follow my song, Cabell, I sing of you," or we could pray, "Follow my prayer, I pray for you." Have we had any singing with her questline thus far? Like, is there more meaning to this than just singing? Because she's very religious, and maybe prayer is the right call. I don't remember if her questline had anything important with singing, but if it did, then that would be the one that would stand out more. I don't remember. So I'm gonna go follow my prayer, I pray for you. She recognizes the prayer and immediately joins you. She recites the familiar words, merging with you in a single plea to the Undying One, and confidently steps in the direction of the exit.
My love.
Together, the two of you emerge from the twisted maze. Cabela's hands dart to touch yours, her fingers interweaving with your own in silent greeting. Then she withdraws her hand and lifts them up to her face. A dagger flashes in the dim light, cutting the delicate stitches. Cabela looks at you with new eyes. You're mine forever. We are out of the labyrinth. A new eternity awaits. We gesture at the lines on the floor. What happens to it now? All good statements. I don't know if I like the possessiveness of the top one. We're out of the labyrinth. A new eternity awaits.
An eternity in the embrace of that which will welcome us both.
I mean, she might take this romantically, actually. The statement of us being together forever, the possessiveness of it is, I'm not as thrilled with. The "you're mine forever." But I feel like the last statement is the one that's going to continue the conversation, so I'm going to go with this top one. Not 100% set on it. You're mine forever. With a nice hug.
You. I always will. Until the end of the last star in the dark void.
Her hands wrap around you, joining at the back of your neck. Her lips meet yours, and together you dissolve in the flood of her tenderness and passion as she loses herself in the kiss. Alright, let's gesture at the lines on the floor. What happens to it now?
We have passed the labyrinth's web. Ahead of us are new trials. But I believe that as long as we keep each other in our hearts, we will always prevail. Come, Domin. Let's cleanse ourselves before we go back to our threads.
Cabela looks at you, her smile calm and sad, and tears glisten in her eyes. Then she whispers so quietly that you can barely hear her. You listen to the comforting sound of running water. For a moment, a horrific scene surfaces in your mind, blood pouring from the pipes in a drowning torrent. But the image is dispelled by Cabela's touch. She is warm, alive, and so close.
May these waters mend the mistakes of the lost. May they wash away the missteps, cleanse the soiled hands, clear the clouded mind. And as we wade in, may they grant us the strength to follow our thread.
Cabela presses a hand to her chest, staring at the rippling surface.
Always remember, Domin, that I love you. I will carry this love into the embrace of death when the time comes for me to reach my end. Remember.
She raises her head and looks directly at you. Two hours pass. That is a long bath. Okay, let's go back on our voyage to save the Inquisitor. She's our knife. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, where she might actually like a possessive statement. Carpets cleaned. Yeah, we cleaned off all of the labyrinth. That took 2 hours, I suppose. So what is this system? More unknown ships. So we're gonna have to fight these Necrons everywhere. Alright, we'll go everywhere else first. Abandoned camp. Under thin clouds, as if shredded by a careless blade, sway vast steppes carpeted by a pale golden deadwood. The rogue trader's attentive eye distinguishes a region among the endless grass that does not fit into the general landscape. The scouts from the shuttle see signs of intelligent life. Judging by the trampled soil and tent frames, someone made a camp here. Distant silhouettes form a tangle of paths and obstacles, a maze. The outer walls are supplemented by a multitude of spikes and blades, and decorated with scraps of leather and withered crucified prisoners. It does not take an expert in xenoculture to reason that Drukhari have been here. Send out a squad of scouts to search the camp. As they comb over the tracks left around the Drukhari structures, the scouts find items of Imperium make, blood-soaked clothes, an Aquila patch, and a data slate cracked in half. Gothic letters and symbols of the Inquisition are frozen on its bottom half. The sentence fragments make up part of an exploration report. The servants of Von Valencius find a rough illustration of the camp in the pocket of a filthy coat. On it are marked 2 locations. The first is shown with a sword and highlights the area where the items were found. The other is a skull and points to a patch of ground by the maze. Alright, find out what is in the place marked by the skull. These scouts carefully inspect every piece of land in the marked area and discover a camouflaged pit studded with strong, thin needles. In a niche sunk into the wall of the trap glitters a volumetric flask with an ugly creature that looks like several brains stuck together. Gross. Lord Xenos analyzed the creature. Rogue Trader's people recognize the grotesque figure as a Drukhari Medusa, a parasite capable of registering emotions and transferring them to its masters. This thing was left here as the equivalent of a pict recorder, collecting the suffering of the Drukhari's victims. Destroy the abomination. The flask explodes into shrapnel fragments under the salvo of the scouts' rifles. The remaining liquid is collected into several test tubes to be examined in the ship's laboratorium and put to good use, or destroyed on the orders of the rogue trader. Let's continue exploring the area. Deep prints belonging to landing legs and a ladder are visible in the grass behind the maze. The relative positions of the recesses correspond to the design of an Imperial shuttle. When the Von Valencius scouts approach, they find a wax seal bearing the symbol of the Inquisition and a monogram formed from the letters XC. An officer voices the proposition that the initials correspond to the name of Lord Inquisitor Xavier Calcazar. Any other objects in the grass? A segment of dry grass a few meters in front of the prints of the ladder has been cut as if scythed. Among the chopped stems lies a piece of a Drukhari trophy, a flap of dark skin stretched out by thin chains. Most of it is covered by a tattoo, a silhouette of a storm or tornado, and a black symbol composed of curved lines and sharp blades. We've got a Drukhari blade that no one can really make good use of. And last stand, it's a shield. 40% block chance. While the wielder has less than 4 traumas and an adjacent ally still in combat, the wielder's wounds cannot drop below 1. Each instance of lethal damage inflicts a random trauma instead. Interesting. Alright, let's burn away all traces of Xenos presence. Predatory structures do not burn easily, and it takes a long time for them to heat up. When the flames finally gather strength, turquoise explosions flash amid the yellow-orange waves. Whatever was down there was dangerous. Okay. Let's head to the next world. Lord Captain, there was an incident on the flight deck. The planet we discovered is located at the coordinates of interest to the Honorable Ulfar, Angel of the Emperor. The moment he learned about this, he chose to abandon ship. He ordered a shuttle to be provided to him and directed it to the world before us. We do not know where exactly he wishes to go, but the augurs have tracked the shuttle to its landing site. He stole a shuttle? How did this happen? Well, when an Angel of the Emperor tells you he's going to take a shuttle, ordinary men give him a shuttle. That's how it happened. Why have I not been notified of his actions right away? Execute the sentries who are guiding the shuttles, or I see. He stole a shuttle. How did it happen? Lord Ulful simply showed up on the deck, drove the enforcers away, and demanded he be granted clearance for takeoff. Your servants became frightened and dared not disobey his orders. Yeah. Why was I not notified of his actions right away? He forbade it, and the enforcers did not dare to defy an Angel of the Emperor. I am very sorry. It's fine. Like, yeah, they should obey me, but I'm not going to fault them for obeying an Angel of the Emperor. I see. I apologize for having to bring you this troubling news, Lord Captain. Alright, we're going to head on down, I'm sure, to whatever that location is. A scouting party led by the rogue trader himself makes planetfall on the frozen world. The shuttle on which Ulfar Thunderlong departed the ship has been designated the starting point for the search. Said shuttle is found at the landing site intact and undamaged. Let's examine the stolen shuttle first before we scout out the area. The machine spirit in it is in fine form and ready to ascend from the world's surface. No clues have been found as to Ulfar Thunderlong's intended destination, but a keen-eyed scout sights several disturbed snowdrifts that may indicate the route taken by the Space Wolf. Alright, we'll scout the area. The scouts discovered numerous structures, burial grounds, and obelisks of the Xeno race that once ruled these star systems, all of which are now encased in ice and solemn sepulchral stillness. No signs of activity by potentially hostile Xenos have been detected. Alright, let's follow the trail. The group bravely ventures onward into the realm of blinding white and crackling frost. The sky is soon blanketed with snow clouds that block out the star's light. The wind, howling like a pack of hungry spirits, sweeps away all tracks and whips up a furious storm. The path is full of dangers. A treacherous crevasse hidden under the snow's crust suddenly opens wide underneath the enforcer's feet. It is only the vigilance of the Lord Captain and his companions who hear the telltale crack in time that saves the soldiers from certain death. A few hours later, the expedition comes to a plateau. Rising up ahead in the dark hull of an Imperial trading vessel that once landed on the world's surface. We are following Ulfar's trail, yes? How did some ice break under our footfalls, but it didn't break under his? He is far heavier. Anyway. Potentially just slightly different routes, I suppose. Investigate the ships and scouts to survey the area. Look for signs of Ulfar or take shelter in the ship and set up camp. Before we go directly to this ship, I think sending scouts to survey the area seems reasonable. The enforcers search the area and return without finding anything of interest. Not all of them return, in fact. Several seem to have lost their way and failed to make it back to the ship. The escalating storm sweeps over the group as if trying to bury them in darkness, snow, and obliterating whirlwinds. Okay, so we probably have limited time. Let's look for signs of Ulfar then. Fresh tracks in the snow lead to the ship's airlocks, indicate that he was here, and recently. However, he was not alone. The scouts find strange dips in the snowdrifts surrounding the ship. It seems that someone was watching the ship from a position buried in the snow, around the same time that Ulfar Thunderlong was searching it. Investigate the ship. The ship is identified as the Revelation Granted, the merchant cog commandeered by the baleful Howl on Footfall. No signs of struggle or other misfortune are found aboard, only some useful cargo in the hold. Contrary to expectations, no crew members are found, dead or alive. The ship has been abandoned and its fuel systems are non-functional. The Promethium has frozen solid and ruptured the tanks and pipes. Let's contact the ship in orbit. The raging storm makes it impossible to establish a Vox link with the rogue trader's vessel, leaving the expedition stranded without aid, but probably not for long. The officers on the bridge should have immediately dispatched help as soon as contact with the scouting party was lost. So do we take shelter or decide which direction to search in next? Don't really want to leave him alone with someone who's been waiting for him. So let's decide which direction to search will go in next. In the raging blizzard, it is impossible to determine which way the Space Wolf might have gone. A pair of brave trackers strike out on the long-distance scouting run and still have not returned hours later. Alright, then we will take shelter in the ship and set up a camp. The bone-weary soldiers welcome the chance to rest. Watchful sentries stand guard while their more fortunate comrades stuff themselves with the now frozen rations of the ship's vanished crew. Grouse test failed. Come on, Abelard. The temperature inexorably plummets. Many members of the expedition suffer from frostbite, while others lose their fortitude and morale. If only we had someone who could just make fire, you know? Magically. Feels like that could be helpful. Too bad we don't have someone like that here. One of the sentries delivers an anxious report to the Lord Captain. He has seen a massive shadow in the darkness, and it was definitely not Ulfar Thunderlong. Double the sentries, hide in the ship's compartments, go on the offensive, or light a brighter fire. Do we can either hide. The other three all seem like they could potentially make us more noticeable. And I don't know what this massive shadow is. Let's hide in the ship's compartments. Sentries are brought inside and the fire is extinguished. Silence reigns in the ship. The frightened people do not move a muscle, afraid to give themselves away by so much as a whisper. A messenger rushes to the Lord Captain to report that one of the sentries is missing. Large tracks have been found near the sentry's post, as well as a few drops of blood. Alright, so staying silent didn't get us past this challenge. Let's double the sentries then. Despite the reinforcements, the sentries cannot conceal their fear. The unknown has robbed them of their courage. A terrible rumbling cuts through the roar of the storm. The clash and clamor of battle is followed by a furious, agonized scream. Send the party towards the sound of battle as soon as possible. Yeah. Whatever's going on out there, it could be Ulfar. We should probably join in. Tied together with ropes and bolstering each other with battle cries, the enforcers rush towards the battle in human chains. Unable to see anything ahead in the darkness and swirling snow, they blindly stride towards the source of the battle's monstrous thunder. We have a 100% chance with Lore Imperium, or 0% with Coercion and Ballistics. I wonder which one I'm going to choose. Send the soldiers forward, trusting in their tactical skills and lessons taught to them by the Lord Captain. Or the Lord Captain will personally rush into battle along against the mysterious foe. I mean, that's what I would like to do. Or the Lord Captain will find a convenient firing position to strike the unknown enemy. Both of those. The Lord Captain is awesome. Let me win. But no, 0% chance. I guess we will trust the soldiers to use the tactics we have taught them. The enemy is concealed by the snow and the darkness, forcing the soldiers to fire in all directions, by some miracle not hitting each other. First one fighter, then another vanishes with a desperate shriek, dragged off by the unknown enemy into the roiling depths of the storm. But the enforcer's courage and stubbornness win out. Boldly pushing forward, they drive the mysterious enemy from the battlefield and into a retreat. Ulfar is found lying in the blood-soaked snow, his body covered in grievous wounds, but the wolf continues to cling to life. With great care, he is borne to the shuttles and, wasting no time, brought back to the ship for urgent treatment. Gravely wounded, Ulfar was transported back to the ship. Despite the chirurgeon's expectations, he did not perish from his injuries, and is hopefully now ready to explain the reasons for his abscondment to the Lord Captain. Okay. Well, let's go talk to Ulfar. Like, hey dude, next time, let us know. We'll go down with you, and we'll take out those creatures. Because doing it your way is foolish and clearly doesn't work. As much as you are mostly a one-man army, you're not entirely a one-man army. He is not here. Ulfar? Isn't that where he usually hangs out? And he's not with the doctor. Oh yeah, there was a quest before that got rid of the doctor. I don't know where Ulfar's at. Yeah, he's just not here anymore. Inquire of the Voxmaster about Ulfar's health. Be nice if I actually read what I'm supposed to do. Voxmaster. When you approach, Vigidus pulls away from fine-tuning another Vox and bows her head. Lord Captain, the ship informed me of our imminent meeting. How is Ulfar? Has he regained consciousness? He's feeling better, Lord Captain. The ship's chirurgeon was amazed at his resilience. The esteemed Lord Ulfar is currently convalescing in his chambers. Have a servant escort me to Ulfar's quarters. Yes, this is your quarters? Ulfar's dark figure towers over you. His head is lowered, his hair hanging in a curtain across his face. His fair skin is crosshatched with broad crimson scars, held together by metal staples and covered with black spiked runes for physical healing. Could an ordinary mortal have survived such injuries? Unlikely. With a twitch of his fingers, Ulfar bids the two servants and attendants to step away so as not to intrude on your conversation. They silently retreat. Eidvater, I must thank you for saving me. I had a difficult battle. I think the Emperor that he did not take you from us to join his heavenly host, my lord. Glad you survived. You stole my shuttle. I think the Emperor that he did not take you from us to join his heavenly host, my lord. I always survive. Why did you decide to go to that world alone? After a few moments of silence, Ulfar says quietly, So I did not have to bury your body in the snow, Eidvater. It is not out of arrogance that wolves do not allow mortals into our affairs, but because the burden of those deeds is heavy, and they reek of death. Just consider what kind of threat you could have been facing. In a place where an entire pack of Astartes has disappeared, if I had risked you for the sake of fulfilling my vows, would that have been worthy of me? I don't know if you're aware, but I'm a pretty powerful pyromancer. Just throwing that out there. Appreciate your concern. We fight together. Do not forget that I'm your Eidvater. You did not do all that well on your own. Now we can safely say that you're not cursed. You almost met your end, but he didn't meet his end. That's the important thing, which means he could still see himself as cursed. Do not steal from me ever again or force my soldiers to die saving you. Yeah. We fight together. Do not forget that I'm your Eidvater. Ulfar heaves a sigh, which seems to hang in the air between you. You and I are different. Your way is to rule and build, while mine is to destroy and chase down prey. Such is the Allfather's plan, and in that plan, my death on the battlefield is an expected and joyous event, while your death would be premature, sorrowful, and damaging to many other lives. Did you find trace of your brothers? You are not your usual self. You seem more somber. The servant's doing. What will you do now? Did you find any trace of your brothers? The vessel I found, the revelation granted. That was them. Inside, there were signs of wolf scouts. That wolf scouts leave for their brothers. The baleful howl landed the ship on the surface and left, and the rest of the crew disappeared. I followed my brother's trail until an unknown foe blocked my path, and battle ensued. What foe is capable of besting you in combat? Your wounds were truly terrifying. Your pack seems to have led an entire ship's crew to their death. Somewhat. What foe bested you in battle? An evil spirit. It attacked me from behind and wounded me instantly. Wolfar points it to a particularly gruesome scar on his chest. The strike clearly intended for one of the Space Wolf's 2 hearts. The wound gives off a strong medicinal smell, but it is not one you recognize. Probably a Fenrisian balm brewed by Ulfar himself. Your healers would faint after one whiff of such a potion. The snow covered my eyes and I could only make out a shadow, but it moved fast and it was strong. If the Allfather's gift had not knitted my ribs into a hard carapace, that blow would have been my last. The wolf says these words with chilling nonchalance. Your pack seems to have led an entire ship's crew to their deaths. The wolf shrugged sadly. Do not blame us for what we are. Death always clings to the warriors of the Allfather, and we are fated for no deeds other than those accomplished in the jaws of Mordecai. I see. Wolfar nods in agreement, his face grim. You're not your usual self. You seem more somber. By bitter paths comes wisdom. In wake of bloody losses and shattered dreams, heavy thoughts weighing on its broad shoulders, it enters unbidden and takes a seat by your hearth. Have you been thinking about your life? Perhaps something good awaits you in the future? Why are there no rhymes in your songs? Do you still believe you will find your brothers? Have you been thinking about your life? About the future? Have you ever wondered what it means to be in Astartes? To know no other family but your brothers in battle? To know no other feast but the joy of slaying your enemies and extolling your fallen comrades? To know with certainty that your death will be terrible, brutal, and agonizing? For time holds no sway over us, and no warrior of the Allfather has ever breathed his last in a soft bed. Death holds no fear for us, Eidvater. We have been eating at the same table since day one. Perhaps something good awaits you in the future. Listen, Eidvater, when the wolf priest tested me, I went to the gate of Mordecai, a dark place where wheel space and the thoughts of the great wolves intertwine like the tentacles of a kraken. Everyone who appears before the gate is granted a vision, and mine was a dark omen. I saw myself in 2 guises, one as white as the moon, the other as black as the lowering sky, and the 2 were locked in combat. As for which me emerged victorious, that was hidden from my sight, but that is not what frightened me. Black Wolf's gaze was fearsome, full of more pain than he could ever inflict himself. It drove him mad, turning him into a monster, and as dark as he appears, I recognized myself in him. After all, I was made for destruction, torment, annihilation. I am the more agile monster. Does that mean that by the Allfather's design, I must drink this cup of pain to the bottom in order to fulfill his plan? I do not know. Wolfar looks at you, his expression inscrutable. Tell me why there are no rhymes in your songs. Rhymes are empty frippery. The saga must be alive. If the words happen to fall into a rhyme, well, that is grand. But to make your whole story fit neatly into such a pattern, you must either twist the truth in the service of beauty, or live your life by the sake of a rhyme. Neither is to a wolf's liking. Our sagas are voices sounding through eternity. When we hear them, we do not hear stories, we hear the tellers, speaking their words to us now. Do you still believe you'll find your brothers? I will find them. Wolfar clenches his fists. Probably not alive, but I will find them. Thank you for your answers. You have a right to them. I'm pleased that my servants found a fitting shrine for your armor. The splendor and monumentality of a chamber of the chamber befit the solemnity of the sacrament unfolding within. As if performing an intricate dance, the servants of the Omnissiah move in time with the murmuring mechanisms, circling the massive space wolf while he stands utterly still. The scent of sacred incense fills the air, giving the sense that one is witnessing a great ritual. Astartes needs very little. A cell and a table where I can perform the purifying rites on my weapons. That is all I require. But to keep the armor bestowed upon me by the Allfather in some shabby cubicle would be sacrilege. This chamber will do well for the vesting ceremony. There is good plasteel beneath the rich decoration and gilding. Yes, I am satisfied. And what are the servants doing? It is time for me to don my skin again. Ulfar shrugs wearily, his body giving off heat and animal scent. One of the servants opens a casket containing contact unguent. It will be used to anoint each of the black carapace's neural ports, marring the wolf's skin. This sacred augmentation seamlessly fuses Ulfar's body with his armor, and every fiber bundle of it. And what will you do now? I must return. My foe waits me, and it would be dishonorable to retreat from this battle, but I will need help in the fighting. You can count on me. I shall consider it, but there are other important matters that require my attention, or this does not seem like a good idea to me. No, you can count on me. I know, Eidvater. Ulfar nods to the servants, and in low voices they begin a guttural prayer. Shadows leap across the walls, twisting together in a majestic and savage dance. In the flickering candlelight, the sacred rite is performed. The angel of the Emperor is clothed in the armor of the unwavering faith and his wrath. There's a lot going on here as well. The backpack is the repository of the mighty machine spirit that supplies the Space Marine's armor with the motive force. Its efforts ensure that the heavy armor does not burden the wearer, but rather multiplies his strength and endurance 100-fold. The resplendent armor of the Emperor's Angel, which has seen more than one battle and taken more than one ferocious blow in its centuries of service. The skin of a wild beast conjures up images of bloody battles between the one who now wears it and the creature from which it was taken. Ulfar, standing on a dais beneath the gilded vaults, resembles a cast metal statue of a space marine, as seen adorning many temples. All that is missing is the armor. Sensing a task not yet complete, mechadendrite tentacles descend from the ceiling toward the wolf, preparing to begin the sacrament of vesting. Oh, we can actually talk to a couple of these guys. Some binary. I'm not going to bother trying to translate it. Some other binary. All the binary. Alright. Never mind. There's not anything useful to talk about. Anything else while we're here? Doesn't look like it. We didn't have the option to talk to Ulfar himself? No. Okay. I guess it's time to leave. So we go back to that planet, I suppose, and take on whatever beast it was that dropped a space marine. Let's just make sure. The ship that brought the baleful Howl Pack to this world has been discovered, and therefore the Space Wolves themselves must be somewhere nearby. Reconnaissance mission is in order. 1 turn. I mean, that's the hope. If I can take it out with fire before Ulfar even gets a chance. Okay, yep. Ulfar is forced onto the party, and that is fine.